What's good, my people? We actually back again for another one on this year, I guess, reaction channel, guys. You can finally call this a Caribbean or Dominican Caribbean reaction channel. Yeah, guys, definitely give it a thumbs up to this here video, guys. And also, guys, if you can actually help this individual right there, guys, based on the story that you're about to hear, I actually did a little snippet of it, and I asked people in the main vlog to see if they can, you know, give a little contribution and stuff to this guy, because it is interesting to hear that story right there, guys, dealing with the government, well, not government, but the people in charge of diaspora then firing an individual for what appears to be, no one knows why they really fired this guy, guys. They said about protocols and stuff, but it doesn't make any sense at all. But we're gonna find out what he has to say in this regard, guys. So I would definitely want you guys to let me know your thoughts on this as well, guys. So let us get right into it right there. Don't forget to subscribe to this here channel, guys. I would appreciate that 150 billion%. Let's get it. Why doesn't this? It always doesn't want to play.
Controversy has surrounded the firing of a security guard who was involved in an incident with crabbacks and leader of the United Workers' Party, Lennox Linton, at the Douglas Charles Airport recently.
Now, guys, what is happening right now? They're pretty much giving you the backstory of what exactly has happened, or, you know, did happen back in 2014. So, yeah.
The security guard identified.
By the way, guys, I edited the video for me to suit it a bit better to get the, you know, the real gist of the story right there, guys. So, yeah.
As Wescott Jones of Marigot was reportedly given working papers after he allowed Linton, who was leaving Dominica, to dispose of the crabbacks since he did not have the required permit to travel with them. For that, Wescott Jones has been fired. His employment has been terminated, Linton said. He stated the matter is not going to be taken lying down, but CEO of the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, that is DASPA, Mr. Benoit Badwell, said there are standard operating procedures under which security officers operate, and due process was
that's actually in this video, not me.
Followed in the entire matter. According to Linton, the controversy has its genesis on October 19, when he, Mr. Linton, was leaving Dominica with a quantity of crabbacks and was stopped by Jones, who asked him if he had a permit to travel with them. Linton said
Now, before we continue, guys, a number of individuals were asking if the crabbacks were cooked or were the actual thing. They were actually cooked, guys. From my understanding, the crabbacks were actually cooked and not that of real crabs being put, you know, in a container or something like that to bring overseas. They were cooked crabs.
He told Jones he didn't have a permit since he was not aware that he needed one. He stated that since it was impossible to get a permit at this point, dispose of the crabbacks outside the airport screening area. In a letter dated December 15th, Badwell informed Jones of his dismissal, saying that by allowing Linton to return the crabbacks, Jones had caused the authority to lose confidence in him as an employee and that he had operated in violation of standard operating procedures.
Now, guys, before we continue, let's understand the whole gist right there. So Lennox apparently had some crabs that he was bringing with him, I guess for some friends or something, or maybe for him to eat on the plane or something, I don't know. But he had crabbacks and he was bringing it on the plane. And apparently you need some sort of permit for you to be able to do that. So they did not allow him, Wescott did not allow Lennox to continue with the crabbacks onto the plane. He said that you have to dispose it since you do not have a permit, right, guys? So Lennox brought it outside. I guess he must have given it to somebody or disposed it or something like that. And he continued his journey. Now they ended up firing this guy for stopping. I don't understand. He stopped Lennox from continuing with the crabbacks because Lennox didn't have a permit. So then they fire him for following the rules. Anyways.
Linton labeled the incident as an example of political victimization against the people of Marigot. But Badwell told DNO security officers operate under standard procedures and Jones did not follow them.
What exactly did Jones have to follow? He needed a permit for him to continue with the crabs. Lennox didn't have a permit for him to continue with the crabs. So he did not allow him to continue with the crabs. What other procedure is there to follow? Can any one of you guys tell me what other procedures is there for you to follow? You need a permit to be permitted onto the plane for the crabs to pass. You did not have the permit. Therefore, you were not permitted to continue with the crabs. You then had to bring back the crabs or give it to somebody or throw it away, whatever. And then you continue on your journey, not with the crabs. So therefore, what other what vibes is there, guys? What other
The gentleman in that case did not follow the process. He explained he took the decision on his own without consulting his supervisor.
So I'm guessing what they're saying right there, guys, is that when that situation happened, he then needed to consult his supervisor or something like that to then do exactly what he did, which was not allow Lennox to continue with the crabs because he didn't have a permit. That is what they...
And allow the gentleman to return and bring it back to a person. He stated when such incidents occur, a disciplinary process is required and normally takes place. If you have...
What? Guys, tell me if that makes sense to you. Now, guys, you guys know I like to think a lot. Does this thing make any sense to you? Disciplinary action for doing what you needed to do. What else needed to be done, guys? What else? Yet, they fired the guy.
Have anything in relations to a matter of staff, a disciplinary matter, there is a disciplinary committee that is set up and it goes through a disciplinary process. The person has to defend himself. He noted the gentleman, his union at the time, and a lawyer who was assisting the union came to the hearing, and there were a number of things raised in the hearing. The whole process was continued, and the disciplinary committee at the end of the hearing made a decision. He said the decision of the disciplinary committee was communicated to his office by letter.
Now, guys, before we continue, I am finding it rather interesting that based off what we know from this right there, guys, not permitted to continue, however, then the union and a lawyer came in and they still ended up firing the... Well, I guess that's why they're probably still in court today. That's why they're still in court today. So I guess that will make sense. Because I'm like, what is the point of the union and the lawyer if you got fired anyway? What else? But they're still in court, so yeah.
This is a normal process, and I will take it to the gentleman or his representative who is speaking in the public domain should know that in industrial relations there is a process, and if the process is followed, there is no need for us to be talking in relations to the public, the CEO said.
But the process was followed though. He did not have a permit. He was not permitted to continue with the crabs. Therefore, the process had been followed. What other process? Maybe that's the thing I should be asking. What other process was there that seems to be missing in this whole picture? Because if you need a permit to continue with something and you don't have the permit to continue, you did not continue with it. What other process is there? What? Okay.
This is something that has been dealt with in keeping with the law.
Which law? What law?
The process was followed, and Jones and Linton can take whatever actions that are available to them.
That is why they're still in court right now. Because that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Really ridiculous.
So folks, there in a nutshell is what transpired.
And by the way, guys, before I continue, some people might say one-sided or this kind of things. Put your argument forward, please. Put it in the comment box below, please. If you think it's one-sided that there, let me know your thoughts. Right there, two people. Okay? I get hysterical or whatever. Anyways.
All the way back in sometimes 2014. And we have in our presence this afternoon, Mr. Wescott Jones. Mr. Jones, good afternoon to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm not doing well. I can say straight, I'm not doing well.
And I would understand why he says he's not doing well, especially in the economic times that we're living in right now, where Dominica is the fastest declining economy It wasn't 6 years ago, 2014 that happened, by the way, guys. This is the interview that happened this year. The situation they're talking about right now happened in 2014. Okay, guys? 6 years later, Dominica did not get better. It got worse. So I understand his predicament, especially considering that he does not have a job at present. A good paying job, I would say, at present.
If I have to say I'm doing well, I'll be telling a lie. I'm not doing well. I have been suffering for a very long time. My mother is suffering twice because she have an amputee. She's an amputee. She have an amputated leg.
I have to pause, man. I have to pause. Anyways, guys. What was I saying again? I didn't forget what I was saying. Anyways, guys, let's continue.
And I cannot see I'm doing well this afternoon.
Jones, let me ask you, how long have you been employed with DASPA as a security officer?
I started working in 2008 and my employment was terminated in 2015.
I know that matter
That was 7 years, 7 years, yeah.
is, as I said in the beginning of this interview, that matter is before tribunal. But can you give the listening public, or the viewing public, an idea how long has that matter been before a tribunal?
This matter has been
In court.
before the tribunal around 6 years, or this month, giving it around 6 years.
Guys, that is one of the things that I noticed, especially when Bad will say Lennox and Wescott can pretty much do whatever they want. These people are part of a society where they can pretty much control what is going on, especially in the courting system. This is why a lot of people don't tend to trust a lot of the top tier things, like the courting system, the education system. There's a lot of things that is going on at the top. And because it's controlled, whoever is, at the bottom, they say, okay, we'll try to push this thing further and further. They didn't say that you cannot have these cases, This is why a lot of cases are going 10 years and counting. I remember the allegations they made against the ministers, guys. The ministers of government interfering or using the public purse as a way for them to gain favors from women and this kind of things there. When did that case ever call, guys? That case still hasn't called today, man. So obviously these guys can push these things back and further back until you say, boy, I wasting so much money in this, beside us. Leave that alone. That is what it looks like. It's not to say they're saying, oh, they know they win, they right. They have the court system on their side. If I'm wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, okay, guys? They have the court system on their side. So they tend to do these things, taking advantage of people, and they literally working the system against the people. Anyways.
How has that matter, Mr. Jones, affected you personally? I'll get to your mom in a while, but how has it affected you personally?
Well, it affects my income, my daily bread. It affects me providing for myself and my family, because I have a family for myself other than my mother family.
Look, family me start to take use the but family have to take care of like that. No wonder you don't save your money, bro, because your money just going like that.
Affect me.
I wonder if he was the only breadwinner of his family, though.
Focusing on life, and I start to look at life a different way, because I try to live I know myself, I try to live a life that is pleasing to God, and a life that is, everybody is not perfect, but I try to be perfect in anything that I do. So I try to make less mistakes in life.
So pretty much he's saying he's trying to be a good citizen then. A good citizen, and then look at what happened to him. Look at what happened to him for trying to be a good citizen. This is why people tend to turn to the other side. This is why one of the people that I knew in Portsmouth, he does certain things, and he's like, what else can I do? This is why good people turn bad, guys. If this guy decides I'm not getting no money, let me go rob a bank and something then, and somebody gets hurt in the process, who are we to blame? The individual, or what the individuals did to him? So you blame the individuals who did that to him. Who do we blame? But you're not going to blame the individuals who did that to him. I mean, from the story that we're hearing there, it doesn't make sense that he was fired at all. He followed the protocols. No permit, you don't permit it to go with it. Simple. What other process?
this thing has messed up my head. It caused me to feel weak. It caused me to
That's why them people, I just remember, that's why them people go and rob Asta fans, you know. And they say that might have been an inside job as well. So, let me just leave that there. Up to now, they do catch those people.
depressed. It caused me to be frustrated. It caused me to be, sometimes I don't want to be around people. I don't want to be, because sometimes it even caused me to be, sometimes when no one is for you, sometimes you try to do the right thing. And persons you expect to talk of some of the wrong things, they keep them out shut.
That is so true right there. And I like the fact that he said that the persons that you expect to speak out, sometimes these very people are the ones who stay quiet the most when situations happen. Especially when you see everything is good, guys. Everything is nice and dandy. Oh, you wonderful. Hey, I there for you and whatnot. But when the situation, when the rock hit the bottom, guys, that is when you will know who is really for you, who really standing for you. When everything is good, that's when people know you, you know, guys.
So
I was going to say something, but I leave that there.
you try to wonder what is really going on in this life. This is not, something is not real, something is not right. Persons I used to respect in society, I start to look at them like they're not honest.
So what does that say about the very people that we tend to put our faith in, guys? When shit hits the fan, splatter everywhere, what does that say about the very people that we think are there for us? But when situations happen, they tend to disappear, guys. Human nature is I tell you, every time I think of human nature in itself, it's mind-boggling, man. It's mind-boggling to understand the state of human thinking. Anyways, guys.
Because
And as we said, we'll not be going into the details of the case, but you still believe in your heart, Mr. Jones, that what you did today, on that very unfortunate day, you still believe that you did nothing wrong.
I did nothing wrong, and I stand by it.
What did he do wrong? That's what I want to know. You say he get fired, okay. What did he do wrong? You know what I suspect? I suspect he was somebody who liked to talk a lot about politics and probably talk to, you know, his friends about politics, and they didn't like it. That's what I'm thinking to myself. They didn't like it, and apparently he was against the very present regime. So when the present regime found an excuse to get him fired, especially dealing with the opposition leader, they fired him. He must have been a very vocal person about the political arena, and sometimes when you're vocal about these kind of things there and people don't like it, somebody will quickly talk and say, hey, look at this, look at that. I have a friend who actually, her mother, I think, her mother works for the government, and she tells me that they tend to threaten her, or if the mother does certain things, they tend to like threaten the mother to make the mother kind of go quiet or hush hush, or hey, you might end up, just be careful what you do, or you might end up losing your job.
I did nothing wrong, and I stand by it. Till I die, I stand by it. I did nothing wrong. I want to say, my mother raised me in such a way. If I do something wrong, I will say I do it wrong. I will say I was wrong. And if I deserve to be punished, I deserve to be punished. That is how I was grown. That is how I was brought up.
But Mr. Badwell is saying in the communique that I just read that at least you did not follow standard operating procedure. How would you respond to that?
That is not true.
You gotta elaborate. You gotta elaborate it, bro.
That is not true.
Would you say, Mr. Jones, that you have seen much worse than that, given a by or persons kind of, you know, give a little leeway as to all the things that are happening at the airport?
We can spend the whole night with evidence.
Well, here's one evidence right there, guys. You remember when the Haitians were coming in Remember when the Haitians were coming in and the Haitians each had to give $400 and they said that was a bit of a deterrent to keep them here for a little bit, so when they're going back they'll get back their $400. Where did that money go? Is that following standard procedure? What was happening during that time? Was that following standard procedure where monies were being taken? Nobody knew where the monies were going. Was it going to the country? Was it going to individuals? Was it going to the government? Where exactly was that money going? Based off standard procedure. There's a number of individuals that were working in the airport that decided to quit as a result of this. There was also another incident indicating where individuals were saying the amount of monies that were coming in, because of the amount of Haitians that were coming in, they also wanted a little stipend or something. The people were complaining, say, hey guys, we're getting all these monies, give a little stipend or something. And then a whole thing uproar on this, and nobody knows where the money go. Badwill, where the money go? You fire a guy for following procedures. I don't know if there was additional procedures, but you follow a guy for, I mean, it's pretty simple to understand. You fired a guy for following procedures, but on the other hand, where is that $400 that the Haitians, each Haitian had to bring in when they came into Dominica? Where's that money?
We can spend it, we can spend the whole night, which speaks a lot.
Bringing your mother now into the loop. I know that you love your mom and you keep taking care of her in spite of that very unfortunate situation. How has that affected your mom?
That has destroyed my mom. It's a difference between, I think affect is not a word. You have to use destroy. My mother suffers severely because of this.
She's an amputee.
Sometimes at night, my mother don't sleep. She stay up late in the night. Late. My mother is a diabetic. She's diabetic. So you have to be very careful what she do and when she do. Sometimes she stay up late. And imagine she's staying up late for years. Not 1 year, not 2 years. Sometimes but around 4, 5, going on 5 years. Kneeling down on 1 foot. My father have to stay up with her, and he have to prepare something for her so she can eat. Because if she go and sleep, she might be in a coma. Because she diabetic.
A vampire dema. Wait, what? So she hasn't slept for 5 years?
So she's still going for it. Sometimes my mother get up and she just depressed, crying. She asking me what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, when they're going to fix it.
And I cannot understand that situation right there, considering the mother is an older person, which means she knew how Dominica was back in the day when things were kind of flowing. She's from Marigot, so you know Marigot was one of the places, Marigot and Salisbury, were big on bananas. Portsmouth was also a big place on bananas, and that money used to come in. And this present situation that she's in right now, that must frustrate you. That must send you mad or something.
Sometimes I have to be keeping up myself just to make her feel that something is going to happen very soon. Sometimes I have to give her hope. I have to talk to her. Sometimes I cannot be straight with her, because if I tell her the truth, it will hurt her more. So sometimes I will talk to her in such a way to motivate her, because my mother, if it wasn't my mother, I don't know what would happen to me. So I giving her love and hope, she giving me the same thing. But I can tell you that destroyed my mother. It hurt her, and it's still hurting her. My mother, sometimes you cannot be in a house every time because it's like you're in jail. You have to be able to bring her certain places. If I bring her certain places, I must have money in my pocket to bring her. I can stay hungry for the whole day, but she cannot stay hungry.
But guys, thank God Dominica is an agricultural nation here. At least we can plant our stuff, plant our growth and eat it, man. At least we can have that. But I tell you, boy.
So if it have something there, I have to share with her and forget about myself. I cannot concentrate on myself because she diabetic.
The bills, what about the bills in terms of who meeting those bills, the medical expenses?
Then sometimes I have to beg. I have to beg.
From coming from a good paying job to now begging because you followed standard procedure. What other excuse is there, guys? What other excuse is there?
Sometimes I have to beg family members. They might not want me to call their names, but sometimes I have to beg family members. Sometimes friends. Sometimes it's me and my father. And my father now, he self not well.
Yes,
my
sir.
father too, because my father different from my mother in the way that my father don't show pain.
Okay.
And that is very dangerous because he can go to bed and sometimes he don't get up, but I could see signs.
True.
I grew with I grew with my mother and father. I could see signs because I love them and I watch everything they do.
So for the past time, Vessi, how have you been sustaining yourself?
Well, I had my farm,
See?
planting things, doing things. So now and then, when things good, I can do something. When things not good, I can ask family and friends to assist me. And that is how it happens. It have a lot of pain, a lot of pain.
So you have been going for a lot, Mr. Jones.
And
You
a
have been
lot of
going
pain.
for a lot.
And it have other things. A lot of things. It have a lot of things. It have a lot of things. Because I was making a lot of sacrifice for my mother, a lot of sacrifice for my family. And now I'm not working. I still have to make more sacrifice. Sometimes I have to be thinking. When they think I'm sleeping, I'm not sleeping. I have to be thinking because I don't accept failure. Failure is not a part of me.
Failure is from Satan, brothers and sisters. Failure is from Satan, bro. Keep the fight going, bro. Keep the fight going. This is one of the reasons why I am working so hard on YouTube and organizing and doing things. So I can be able to help people who I need, man. I can be able to push people, give a little something, bring you guys on board to say, hey guys, if you want to make a contribution to him, and this is why I'm doing this video, guys. So you can pretty much make a contribution to see how you can help him, man. Help his family. I mean, things are bad, I understand. But if you can give a $10 or $20, nothing wrong with that. Especially if you guys are in the US, I mean, it'll convert and then we can give him something. But bro, keep that fight going, bro. Keep that fight going, bro. There's more I can say on this in terms of like contributions and stuff. But guys, I tell you, boy, I tell you, where do we draw the line, man? Where do we draw the line? Especially when it comes down to a corrupt system. 6 years that going on, you know. 6 years that going on. And a friend of mine tell me, well, that'll continue for another 6 years. A friend of mine told me that will continue for another 6 years. Because I did the video on the main vlog, a little snippet of it. Guys, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts? And if you can give a contribution, guys, definitely give a contribution to this individual right there. His struggle is real, guys. It's not gimmick that day. His struggle is actually real, man. Anyways, guys, this is all it was for this year reaction vibes. Let me know your thoughts, like I said before, in the comment box below. And of course, guys, I'll see you guys in the next. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next Mystelics reaction vibrations right there.